Hey, Sam here with Guitar.com, and we're still at the Gretsch booth with Adam, taking a look at the super cool new Brian Setzer model. So, Adam, talk us through it.
All right. So, well, we know Brian Setzer's been a flag bearer for Gretsch for a long time, yeah, Gretsch probably wouldn't be where it is without the man himself. Currently on tour, of course, with the reunion of Stray Cats, 40-year reunion tour. And his main guitar, and as you see in the picture behind you, is a 59 6120. And what we've done with the new line of Setzer models is, firstly, we've reduced the offerings, the number of models there are a bit, to make it a bit more concise.
Okay.
And then we've, completely sort of upgraded every part of them. And this is the top of the range model, the kind of flagship model. We're calling Smoke, because that's what he calls his. And it's basically,
cool.
This is pretty much a replica of his stage guitar, his main stage guitar. And it's probably one of the coolest kind of 59 style 6120s that we do. So some of the new features that we've brought in on this, it's got this semi-gloss finish to it, which is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
It gives that real vintage-looking sheen to it, like
kind of like a teak finish in a way, isn't it?
Yeah. And when you walk into a vintage guitar store and you see a Gretsch on the wall, you know it's vintage because of that sheen.
Yeah.
This has got that same kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And to sort of add to that, we've done rolled body edges, because on big archtop guitars like this, sometimes the edges can be a bit sharp when they're brand new. And of course, a vintage one, they wear in over the years. So these have got a little bit rolled off, so it gives that real vintage feel. This has got a slightly shallower body, like his 2¼ inch deep body. Ebony fingerboard, again rolled fingerboard edges for that vintage feel. It's got every part of this is kind of replicated from his guitar. So we drew round his headstock, we drew round his pickguard, the placement of the knobs and everything. Like on a standard 6120, the knobs would be pretty much centralized, but this, as you can see in the picture again, slightly to the edge.
Yeah.
That's simply because in the 50s they were kind of like a bit haphazard, and they landed where they landed, and so that's how his is. Pinned bridge, of course, so it's not going to slide around. The pickups on this particular model are the Ray Butts full fidelity Filtertrons from TV Jones. Pretty much the most authentic Filtertron replica on the market at the moment. So that's really suited to copying his vintage guitar. Quick story about this, and the headstock shape, you'll see it's got quite a long neck on it.
Yeah.
The reason for that is on a 59 would normally have a 0 fret. But Brian doesn't like 0 frets, so when he gets his vintage guitars, call him crazy or not, he chops that off and he moves the nut down.
Wow, no way.
So that's why there's a bit more space up there.
So is that a case of then, would he remove the fretboard to do that, or just take it off?
No, you can basically remove the 0 fret, and then it's got that slot underneath, and you just chop there and put the nut in its place, and it's pretty easy. What else? A classic Gretsch setup with the tone switch and the pickup switch, and the 2 volumes down there. The Bigsby B6 with the Gretsch logo on, and it's got the black screw here, which again authentic to his guitar.
Very authentic, yeah.
So that's this is actually another important thing. Brand new to Gretsch guitars in general, first time we've ever done this on a production model, compound radius.
Is that vintage accurate as well, or is that?
It's kind of a compromise.
Okay.
Because on his previous signature guitars, he always had a 9.5 inch radius. Gretsch's have always historically had 12 inch radius.
Yeah, of course.
So it's kind of going between the two, because this is 9.5 to 12.
To 12, okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's not super flat like the Jacksons and Charvels and so forth, which are 12 to 16. This is like a vintage compound, if you like. So still has the same effect of nice, comfortable chording, and then being able to shred out at the top.
So it kind of just gives you that little bit of easier modern playability then.
Exactly, yeah. And just other little touches, the nice V-shaped neck on there. Yeah, it's got the spot on the back, which is period correct. In the old days, they would have had a big screw behind there. We don't need to do that because of modern construction techniques.
Of course,
Trestle bracing, all the stuff that you'd expect to find. Just a super cool guitar.
Beautiful.
Oh, and locking tuners, of course. And then, so that's the flagship model, and then we also have, so these two are called the Nashville models, as opposed to the Hot Rods. So the other Nashville model is...
aptly named for where we are?
It's indeed, yeah. It's the just a plain black finish, basically. Yeah. It still has the knob placement and the compound radius and so forth, but it has the standard headstock shape.
Okay.
And it's a gloss finish, obviously, so it just makes it a little bit more affordable than the other one.
Yeah.
Just those details. And this one has the Brian Setzer signature pickups from TV Jones, not the full fidelity pickups.
So what's the difference in tone then between those two?
These ones have kind of a more mid-range punch to them. Okay. They're not quite as authentic as those ones, which have a bit more of that clarity that you'd expect from a Filtertron. These are a bit more aggressive. but still really cool, and Brian likes them, so hence he put his name on them.
And the super cool knobs as well.
Yeah, the dice knobs. Love them or hate them, that's what Brian puts them on. Where he got from his original Monopoly set, and he stuck them on there. And yeah, I think that's... You see many a modified Gretsch out there with dice knobs on, all thanks to Mr. Setzer.
And now they come as standard, fantastic.
Yeah, and this is got the deeper body. This is 2.5 inch body instead of 2.25. And then
take a look at some of these hot rods.
Onto the hot rods, yeah. So previously the hot rods we had about 1 million different finishes. We decided just to really close that down to just 4 of the ones that Brian liked the best. Probably the one he's most famous for using, I guess, other than the orange one, is the extreme Coolant Green finish. And we did this finish before, but Setzer fans out there on the forums and everything were saying it wasn't quite right. It wasn't quite the right green. So this is now the right green, extreme Coolant Green, slightly bigger flake on the metallic as well. I'll get that in the light because it's a really spectacular thing.
Absolutely incredible,
And the hot rods are, by the name suggestion, they're stripped down, they're ready to go. They have volume control and output, and that's it. You've got the selector switch between the two. Rosewood fretboards instead of the ebony. Again, the standard headstock shape. Still got the locking tuners and the compound radius and all, and the pin bridge and all that stuff. But no binding on the FLs, just really kind of stripped down.
TV Jones pickups as well.
TV Jones, Brian Setzer signature pickups, and the B6 Bigsby. And so that's with the slightly shallower body shape again. Shallow strap locks, they all have them.
Fantastic.
That was the Coolant Green. The other one of the other new colours. This is a bit wild. See if you can carry that off on stage. It's gonna. You got to have the right suit to wear this guitar.
I think so,
But this is a candy magenta metallic finish, which Brian was really keen to have. You may remember from not the last, but the last before that Hot Rod series, there was the lime gold metallic, which we brought back because it was one of his favourite guitars to use on stage.
It's like a glittery mustard colour.
Indeed. And then a brand new colour for the series.
Last but not least,
is the metallic blue burst, which it's quite a subtle burst, so it's a bit darker around the edges. But again, it's metallic. I think that's a really cool finish.
Yeah, fantastic. Is it burst on the back as well, or is it flat? Burst on the back as well.
Burst on the back.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, so he's been using this one quite a lot as well. He's been featured in various articles and so forth, holding this guitar. So, really nice finish. We've gone back to the nameplate rather than having the truss rod cover there. So, yeah, very cool.
Very cool.
So that's the new Brian Setzer range.
Great. Thanks very much, Adam. And we're back at the Gretsch booth taking a look at what is arguably the coolest guitar at the show. So, Adam, tell us what it is.
Coolest guitar of the show. Yes, I like that. We'll go with that. So this is a custom shop model made by our master builder Steve Stern in the custom shop in Corona, California. And this is kind of a signifier of our new partnership with Rich Robinson of the Black Crows, of course, and recently Magpie Salute. And this is not a Falcon, as you may think. This is a Magpie.
Very nice.
It's a renamed Falcon in honor of Rich Robinson. And it has some really cool features, apart from the obvious just fact that it just looks cool.
Looks great, yeah.
So one of the big things is the finish on it, as I move it around. We're calling it Raven's Breast Blue Metallic.
Okay.
It's like
you can see it glistening.
Yeah, the way a Raven others, they change in the light. This is the idea behind this one.
I see.
So it is, and of course, a magpie and raven and a crow, all in the same family of birds. There's your little connection there. It also has this engraved. It's not a sticker. This is actually an engraved logo, and that's his Magpie Salute logo. And you can see within that the actual grain of the spruce top, because this is a solid spruce top on this.
Wow. Okay.
Most Vulcans would be a laminate maple, but this is solid spruce.
Solid spruce. So is it centre block as well?
This is trestle bracing, so 59 trestle bracing, but it has an additional block underneath the bridge for extra feedback avoidance purposes. Again, this classic Gretsch setup, early 50s Gretsch setup of master tone, volume per pickup, master volume, and the switch. But what's different about this one in terms of the electrics is the pickups.
Okay.
So those Broadtron pickups I mentioned in the other video that we introduced before, you'll see them on the Professional Collection Jet BT models. And this is the first time we featured it on a Falcon, at least a multiple produced Falcon. So Broadtron pickup at the neck, and then a TV Jones Classic at the bridge.
Very cool.
And even though this is a higher output pickup than this, the way the guitar's built and set up and everything, they've got a really lovely balance between the two. And the reason why they're two different is because the Broadtron, as we were describing before, has a much fuller sound, but Rich really wanted the bite in the bridge, and the Filtertrons have bite. So that's why there's a normal Filtertron there, Broadtron there.
Right. Is it ebony fretboard again?
Ebony fretboard. It's got the silver sparkle binding, the classic vertical logo on the headstock. Standard Grover Imperial tuners. Of course, it's a Relic. You might have noticed there's a bit dinged. That's not just because we've been playing it a lot. It is actually a Relic guitar.
Nice bit of buckle rash there.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And it's a vintage style Bigsby B6, but it does have the string through bar on there, so it's much easier to restring. Just pop them through and you're done.
How many of these guitars are available?
There's 25 globally available.
Wow.
In Europe, that means, well, we haven't quite decided yet. Between about probably 3 to 5, something like that.
Get them all you can.
Yeah, it's very, very limited, very exclusive, and very cool.
Very cool indeed. Thanks, Adam.
No price.
Cool. Hey, Sam here again from Guitar.com, and we've moved over to look at the super cool EVH Tribute Bumblebee model. So, Adam, can you tell us more about this super cool guitar?
Yeah, sure. Well, firstly, you remember that last year we did a tribute model to the Eruption guitar, which was famously used on the first Eddie Van Halen, the Van Halen 1 album, because it was 40th anniversary of that guitar last year. Well, this year, of course, is 40th anniversary of Van Halen 2. And featured on the back cover of that album was basically this guitar.
Bumblebee.
Although it was an early iteration of that guitar, he had on the back cover of that album, it was this guitar with a Charvel neck.
I see.
But almost immediately that photo was taken, he was modifying it again and changing it around, and he put a Mighty Mite neck on there, and that's what this is the version of that. And he went on tour to promote the album, and this is a guitar used extensively on that tour.
Okay.
So it's basically a Dead Nuts copy of the one he used. It's in the picture behind you. You can see little details like just right there's a mark, probably a cigarette burn or something, and that's right on the headstock there.
These little pink inflections here.
Yeah, all that stuff. It's got the gaffer tape where his picks were stored. It's got the Wolfgang pickup on there, which we produced as a replica of his original pickup anyway. Cool. It's got the tone, written tone there where it's actually a volume. He's got his hooks there for his straps that he likes to use. What's really, apart from the actual, replica nature of the guitar, we went to town. This is a specially engineered replica of the prototype Floyd Rose that he had on his guitar.
Wow, amazing.
So when Floyd Rose were first coming out, they were obviously consulting with Eddie because he's famous for his whammy use anyway, and they came out with this, and it's just absolute replica of that. You notice there's no fine tuners on there. It's like,
so is that not what these are?
No, that's just for the intonation. So no fine tuners at all. It's got that wobbly arm just like on his, and it's and it's flat to the body, like just like he likes it. So if the string breaks,
2-pin as well.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
Incredible.
It comes with an incredible amount of case candy, which you can see in the picture here. It's got the authentic flight case. You've got signed vinyls and things, and all the plectrums, and a little booklet describing the build of everything. And probably, if you get round the back later with the camera, you can see all the detail on the back. It's got the open control panel and everything. And yeah, I mean, it's just a crazy. It's as close as you're going to get to that original guitar. And we went no holds barred to get there.
So how many of these are available, and what is the price point?
The price point is, well, it's $25,000.
So pocket change.
Yeah, I think it's going to be about £18,000 in the UK, and I think there's 79 for the world because of the year 79.
Oh, okay, amazing.
Which equates to around 10 for Europe.
Wow.
So
again,
pretty exclusive, yeah.
Right, very cool. Thanks very much as always, Adam.
No worries.
See more from this super cool guitar and the case candy as well on Guitar.com.